and I call it the jab, and I'm careful, but were they behind this V? What was it, China, or does it go deeper than that?
What they're looking for here in this country is they want to create enough civil unrest that they get to send in the UN. As anybody who can't understand that HIV insertions into a virus are not naturally occurring.
Let's lay it out. What's the layman's term of the deep state?
In my opinion, the deep state primarily, the operators that get the things done that result in the deep state effect, that of course you have some real hardcore types in Congress, we know that, but they just carry the water. That's all.
Yeah.
And they carry a lot of water. That's why they wind up multimillionaires after a few years on a congressman's salary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The deep state is largely comprised of, in my opinion, regulators and judges. Many of these people are not elected, they're appointed. And you cannot, in many cases, even find out who they are. You cannot fire them any more than you can get these people out of jail who've been sitting there for, 7 months now? Because they showed up in Washington, D.C. for a rally on the 6th. That's your actual deep state. They're the ones who, they're the ones you can call on for a favor to block something here, to let this slide through there by maybe not saying anything about it or just making a deal with somebody else. You watch these crime dramas that involve drug cartels and so forth, and you see the way the allegiances switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, think of the regulators and the judges, the activist judges. First of all, to me, that's a complete misnomer. If you're an activist judge, you don't need to be on the bench. You're not supposed to be an activist as you sit on the bench. You're supposed to interpret the law, not practice your bloody activism.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you look at the cartels and the operators there, you got a few big cheeses, and you got a whole lot of captains and lieutenants and a lot of soldiers.
Yeah. You know what you said is very
Same deal.
interesting. I never thought about this, John, but you're talking about the judges, you're talking about the regulators. These are people that are not elected in. So
That's
if you don't elect them in, you can't elect them out. They're usually there for a long period of time, but they are brought in by people that are elected.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So what you're saying is the guys carrying the water is Congress, Senate, and they elect these judges. They elect these different layers of deep state in. So, okay, so let's talk about China. Is China behind? I mean, who is behind it? And I've got to be, we have to be careful of our words because you've got a show. And I call it the jab, and I'm careful. But were they behind this V? What was it, China, or does it go deeper than that?
Well, just to make it intelligible rather than sensational, the people who plan the direction that the world is going to take are very, very patient. There are little skirmishes here and there. Right now, they have the Middle East all tied up. There's something in it for them, meaning the would-be rulers of the world. There's something in it for them later, but not right now. Right now, the Middle East needs to remain in turmoil. The Chinese have been working with certain operators inside the United States, I'm going to say intelligentsia, for a long time. And by intelligentsia, I mean the government, the news media, who seed the news sphere with various stories that they'll find useful, just to start conditioning public opinion mostly. And one of the most important elements of it is academia at the university level. I mean, you see this the Chinese lieutenant who didn't bother to put on her visa application that she was a member of the People's Liberation Army. I think she was working out of Boston University. Either that or it's another one that I'm thinking of that was working out of Boston University. But I think it's the same person. No charges. It's just an omission. Well, there is such a thing as lying by omission, and she did it. As far as this China virus is concerned, this was long in the making. They have given us ample warning. Now, I've heard this off and on. I can't prove this, but I believe that some of these practitioners of evil, and that's all it is. But people say, "Oh, you're going there again." It's like, you're really going to go there? You're going there. Evil. Yeah, evil.
Yeah, right.
Now, harvesting the organs of a living child. I saw this. So, do we think they care very much about human life? No, they don't. What did they do to Christians over there? Not good. What about Uyghurs? Muslims? The Chinese will do what they are told. They are a slave culture, going all the way back to the coolies. The British inserted communism in there, just the British government. Not the British people, but the British government inserted communism into China, into Russia, into India, into South Africa, into Brazil. They've got it going on pretty well in Canada, and they're visiting upon us here. So, I mean, where did the Steele dossier come from? Ex-MI6 guy? So much of this stuff is tied to operations conducted by the British government. So, this Wuhan virus, first thing out of my mouth, look, there's a saying in Texas, David, you may have heard it. Nobody wants to be first, but everybody wants to be next. I'm okay with that. So I just popped off. I said, this is a bioweapon. The tip-off is the HIV insertions. Anybody who can't understand that HIV insertions into a virus are not naturally occurring is an idiot. Okay? Think. All you need is about 60 IQ points to figure this out. This was done and released into the American citizenry selectively. And obviously, it went into just certain places and then spread from there. Well, they had help from various traders in academia, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Boston University, and others, to develop this thing. You know, Lieber, he took a bunch of money. We were just talking last week about, I don't even remember what the story was, but the lead researcher in this particular project is Chinese. There are Chinese all over the place. Is it because they're so much smarter than Anglos and than Orientals are smarter than Occidentals? No, that's not it. Is that they're pulling us into the jackpot along with them. Us versus them. It's them versus the world. They want the world.
Okay, so I want to break this down. Okay, so we got the deep state. The deep state is all over the world. It's global, Illuminati. Does China obey the deep state? Is China part of the deep state? Are they being controlled by a deep state?
They're the foot soldiers of the deep state, in my opinion, and simply because those soldiers will do what they're told. You know, they've run 6 joint military training exercises in Canada in just the last year. And that's just last time I checked. They could be running one right now. They're all over Mexico. What they're looking for here in this country is they want to create enough civil unrest that they get to send in the UN, and the Democrats will most assuredly send them in because that pesky posse comitatus may prevent them from using military against American citizens. However, it does not prevent them from sending in UN troops. UN is the most useless body on the face of the earth, except when you want to go into an area that's already disrupted and disrupted some more. Because I mean, look at their track record. Everywhere they go, chaos follows with them. So when you see UN troops show up in the United States, and if civil unrest does occur here on a widespread basis, the UN troops you see will be Chinese soldiers in blue helmets.
Wow. So we'll have the Chinese invasion. I want to thank you for your prayers, for your encouragement, for your financial support. If you would like to support this ministry, you can text the word chosen to 41444 and make a donation. Or if you'd like to pick up this new DVD, it's our End Times Investigation. And I've got talk about the Illuminati, Satanism, demonic warfare, end times miracles. We talk about the one world religion, of course, the one world government. I have a lot of my friends on here. I've got Russ Dizdar, L.A. Marzulli, Josh Peck, many, many more. John Wells is on here, John B. Wells. And I want you to go and text the word chosen to 41444, or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order and pick that up. If you'd like, hey, let's get the t-shirt. Okay, Legalize Jesus t-shirt. All right, you can text 91999, the word chosen to 91999 and get the Legalize t-shirt, Legalize Jesus t-shirt. This is the Legalize Jesus mug. Just text the word 91999, the word chosen to 91999, or go to davidheavener.tv/order. I want you to go to davidheavener.tv and I want you to join up. Please become, you get 2 months free if you join for the year. Look, there's going to be one day you and I won't be able to connect in the way we're doing it. If you go to davidheavener.tv, you can watch all the shows there. We have 7 channels of truth. I have the prophecy channel, the health channel, Saving Babies channel. We have the original TV series channels where you're going to watch Last Evangelist. And if you go there now, you'll be able to go underground with us at 8 o'clock because we're going to have John with us. And I'm going to ask him the most radical thing he's ever talked about, which we can't talk about here, but we will talk about it underground. Go to davidheavener.tv and join now. Okay. Support the ministry. Appreciate it.